Hello, everybody. We are super excited tonight because we have some special guests on here that are just an incredible couple and one of my favorite couples in the entire company. And we are just super excited to have you, Jeremy and Rachel. How are you all doing tonight?
Yeah,
Good.
We're great.
Our kids are asleep, so that's good news.
It's good to be here.
Awesome. Will you guys just start out by sharing a little bit of your story with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we were just talking about this today. You know, we feel so blessed. We've ever since we've been married, we're actually celebrating our 11-year anniversary on Sunday. And our whole marriage, we've been kind of adventurous kids. We met in Texas down on the border of Mexico. We traveled a lot in Mexico doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Ended up like spending a year living in Africa. We've always wanted to have the ability to just kind of follow our dreams and do what we felt like we were meant to do. And we always just trusted God to catch us along the way. Every time we felt like there was something in our hearts that we were supposed to do, we just did it. And so along the way, that led us to have this really deep desire to come here to Colorado. We're not from here. I'm from Oregon. She's from Missouri. And we wanted to come here to Colorado to start a church. And it's just really burning in our hearts to reach people who are kind of unreached and to move into this community. We didn't know anything about it. I didn't have a job. We didn't have any money. We just said, okay, let's do it. And so we sold everything we had. We had 2 kids and we were pregnant. We didn't even know it, but we were pregnant with our third. And we sold everything we had and we came out here to Colorado. Had no idea how difficult this was going to be. Mm-hmm. And so I just got a job. We're like, okay, we're going to start this church. And I got a job at a call center. And I was working like 40 hours a week, making like $14 an hour. And you guys, Colorado is so expensive. It's so expensive to live here. Like real estate is expensive. Food is expensive. And
it's like California prices.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. And we weren't making it. Like for the first time in our life, we got on food stamps. And that was such a huge blessing. But then at my job, even with that, we weren't making it. And then at my job, I got this raise, like a 25-cent an hour raise. And that was a blessing, but it kicked us off of food stamps, $500 a month.
So it wasn't really a blessing.
Yeah. And so we were like rock bottom. And couldn't pay our bills. We were $30,000 in debt. And here we were, like our whole lives up to this point, we had just done whatever we felt like God wanted us to do. And he always met us there. And so we were really dealing with it. Like, come on, what's the deal? God, where are you? What are we supposed to be doing right now? We're sinking. We felt like we were drowning. We were in debt like up to here. And we felt like, any day we would just sink and have to quit and who knows, do who knows what. And so,
to milk milk.
Yeah. I mean, there was one day when I went to the grocery store and I just went to get some milk. We had little kids and, I knew that there was no money on our debit card. Okay. I wasn't even going to try that because we were living like where you hope that all of the non-sufficient funds fee, that when you finally get paid, that you still have money left over after all of the bank fees. Because we were super negative. So I knew that I couldn't buy anything with our debit card. So I got my credit card out and they swiped it and it was maxed out. And so I'm standing there in the grocery store. Here we are. We had moved across the country thinking that we were doing what we were supposed to do. And I'm standing here in the grocery store with absolutely no way to go home with this stinking gallon of milk. And I just had to leave it there and walk away. And it was, for me, that was one of the hardest moments of my life. I mean, I know that's crazy. We lived in a village in Africa for a year, but feeling totally powerless and penniless with 2 kids and another one on the way was really hard. And so we're just really praying for an answer. Rachel had all of these people trying to get her into all of these network marketing companies. And my sister was a part of one that she didn't do well. And it wasn't the greatest company probably. And I was like, no way. They don't work. It's a scam. Besides, we're pastors. You can't do that. You have to be like, I don't know, a bad person to do those or something. And so
he was really anti.
I was totally against it, which how dumb is that? But we were desperate, and her sister joined It Works.
Well, no, somebody asked me to join It Works, and they so I'd been asked to join a few different network marketing businesses. And I was like, no, because I was like, people don't make money in those businesses. This is just like hobby money. And this hobby money like buys them the products that they like from the company. And that's really all that it is. Like, I've never seen anyone successful in these companies. So, for me, I was like, no, it'd just be a waste of my time. But a friend of mine, and you, Chad and Drew, you guys know Brianne Burtness, her cousin actually messaged me. I worked at an ice cream store as teenagers with her. Talk about small world. So she and I, which she's now a presidential diamond with It Works and a top 100 income earner, this girl, but she messaged me and she was like, Rachel, I really think that you should do this. And she told me about it. And I was like, Jeremy, I think I should do this. This product, this wrap thing, this is actually brilliant. I've never seen anything else like this before. I was like, all these other companies, they've got stuff that's like it's out there everywhere, but this wrap is like really different. I really think that I should do this.
And so I said, no.
Yeah. He was like, no. And then like she had sent me the income chart and I was like, but look, like this actually makes money. I was like, this is brilliant. And he was like, no. And that was in November. And like, we were really broke at that time. But I was like, okay, whatever. It wasn't like that. I was that passionate about it. Since he said no, I was like, all right. Well, November, December, January, February comes along. And we're like, at this point, crying ourselves to sleep at night. We were like, we're going to have to leave Colorado. There's no way we can afford to live here anymore. It's so expensive. There was one time where we couldn't even pay rent. And we were praying for a miracle. And a check showed up in our mailbox with the exact amount
that was
to our rent. And no one even knew that. It just showed up randomly from a member of our church down in Texas. And it was like, we just cried that day because God totally provided. But anyway, so February was like a really, really hard time. And I was seriously about to go crazy because I had these 3 little kids. We had no way of providing for them. And we really felt like this huge dream was in our heart to start this church. And literally we were meeting in a coffee shop with a homeless guy.
Yeah, it was
that was
awesome.
Like how. So that obviously
Gus.
is not. That's like
church.
heart thing, but that's not going to pay our bills.
And, I want to say before you get into how we actually started with It Works, it was like all along the way though there were these little breadcrumbs, and that check in the mail was one of them. Mm-hmm. It was like we were really having a hard time, but every now and then there'd be this little sweet little breadcrumb that God would drop in our path just to show us that we were still headed the right direction. Like He never left us totally alone in the dark all the time. There were these little things like that check, or like this dream that Rachel had, which actually happened the day before we joined the business. Rachel wakes up and she has to tell me about this dream that she just had, and you should tell them about it. And then
well, it's just a dream that I had that I really felt like God was going to bless us. And so I was like, oh, this must be like a spiritual blessing because there's no way financially we're being blessed, But I just remember waking him up and I was like, God's going to bless us. And I don't know how, but somehow He's going to do it. And it just reminds me that if you're faithful, like in those little things, and you're doing like what you're meant to be doing, and in your heart, all of us connect with God differently, but if in your heart you're doing what you're meant to do, then you just keep doing it, because eventually God's going to drop in something and provide exactly what you need. And so like for this business, I know that we're all probably here and you guys are listening to this because you feel like this pull, or you have this feeling that this is what you're meant to do, or you're doing it, you're on the Zoom because you feel like there's part of you that's supposed to be doing this. And I know that God has a plan for you guys. So anyways, my sister joined It Works. And so at this point now, Jeremy has no choice but to let me join It Works, because I was like, oh, this is awesome.
You get those two girls together, and there's no man on the planet that can like out.
Yeah.
Win.
So at this point, like
they win every time.
She was like, I was like, oh, Jeremy's like, we don't have $99. You can't sign up. He was trying to find a way for me not to do it. And he was like, you really should do this. And I was like, I'm supposed to do this. And my sister was like, I'll just send you $99. She was like, you just need to sign up. So Melissa sent it to me and I was like, I'm signing up. And I was so excited, you guys. And a little like side note, because we were living broke for so long, I added to our debt maybe like a lot, because we couldn't buy clothes for the kids. And so I opened up an Old Navy credit card because I thought that would be a really good idea. So because they
she's like, I get points though.
Yeah, you get points for free money. Like, so it's like $100 for more Old Navy clothes.
We were $6,000 in Old Navy debt. I was like, how does that even happen?
So I ended up going on a shopping spree basically and buying my kids new clothes. I have 3 kids, they're going to school, and then like I was buying clothes for me and I'd bring home clothes for him. And Jeremy was just like, this has to stop. So at this point I've racked up, like somehow I've not just Old Navy, but like somehow I used the credit card and it got up to $7,000. So I added to the $30,000 we already had. And I was like, we're in big trouble. And so I was like, God, you got to get us out of this. Like, I'm so in trouble, And so Here It Works comes in this little package. And I had no idea the blessing that was going to come my way. But all I saw was that my sister was making me sign up and I was saying yes. And I got a box of wraps. That was it. That's all I knew. And I knew that there was an income chart. So the income chart and the wraps was all I knew. Okay, I didn't ask a single question. Obviously, I have no green in me, so I didn't inquire anything. So I'm just kind of like tossing the deep end, and I was like totally down at the bottom trying to swim my way up. And so anyways, Jeremy was like anti over here, like, I'm not doing this. You say, don't post on Facebook. Don't do this. Don't, Rachel, you're going to look like a scam. Sure enough, I post on Facebook that I'm doing this business, and I got 5 messages from our church down in Texas, and they were like, Rachel scammed. Someone's got into her Facebook and scammed her.
They were like, somebody's hacked your guys' account.
They were like, Jeremy, I'm really concerned. I think that something's happened with Rachel's account. I got emails, and I was like, yeah, you're right. People are going to think I'm a scam. And sure enough, you guys, over time, I have been unfriended by people. They have not talked to me anymore. But more than anything, I think that God knew those things were going to happen. And remember, he came to me in a dream and told me that he was going to bless me. And very quickly, I realized that It Works was the blessing that he brought to me. And I knew, regardless of the haters out there, or regardless of the people that thought I was scamming them, I knew that God had a plan for me. And I had to march forward regardless of what people thought about me. Because I was supposed to. I'm supposed to do this, and so I just had to go. So anyways, like I got in. I had no idea what I was doing, but I remember calling my sister's upline because she had just joined too. And I asked her, what am I supposed to do? And she said, you've got 30 days, get 4 loyal customers and 3 distributors. Come back to me when you've done that. So I was like, okay, well, I don't even know what that is, but I'll figure it out. So I got 4 loyal customers and 3 distributors on board. I didn't know that it was an option. I thought that was all. I was supposed to do that. So I got it done. I got my 4 customers, 3 distributors on board in 30 days. And I called her. I said, okay, I did it. What do I do next? And she goes, oh, you did it? And I was like, well, yeah, you told me to. And so she said, okay, just do it again. You just do that every month. And I said, okay, so you're double diamond. And if you got to double diamond in 6 months. So you're telling me that if I do what you did, then I can get to double diamond in 6 months? And she said, oh yeah, you can. I said, okay, deal. So 2 months in, I went Ruby, and I was making $500 a month. And I was like, I'm making money. I'm so excited because I've only been a stay-at-home mom.
I was like, well, maybe this could be okay. I don't know.
He was unsure still. He was still not sure. And
I'm sounding like such a bad person, but
no. He was fine because he was skeptical. Okay. So my husband was skeptical. It's okay. We all have those hubbies or spouses in our life that are. And so I just kept working. And so you guys, I was at Ruby for 5 months, and Jeremy was like, you're working way too hard for $500 a month. You really should quit. Like, this is too stressful for me. Like, I can't handle it. And I was like, no, I know where I'm going. This is going to go somewhere. I just have a feeling I have to keep going. And so at the end of 5 months, I went diamond, and I got the $10,000 good bonus. They brought it back, and I got $10,000. And a little side story, I remember we're broke. We have tons of debt. At this point, we're just like surviving. I'm helping buy groceries that like replace that food stamp money. You guys, I was driving around a car that sat sideways. Like, I wish I had the picture of it. It was an SUV that sat sideways. The axle broke, and we didn't have money to change it.
We had bought it down in South Texas, and the back strut, like the spring had broken, and so literally we were like gangstas, like driving down the street.
And to make it worse, like Colorado has 300 days of sunshine, so basically it never rains here, and the windshield wipers were broken, and so they would go like this all day long, even when it was like 90 degrees out and no rain. And people would stop me, and they'd be like, something's wrong with your car, and I was like, no, it's just like this, like, it's okay. But it was really bad.
And so here I am again, feeling like a total failure, because here my wife is driving this death trap in the nonstop windshield wipers down the street everywhere she goes.
Like the rubber was melting onto the windshield, you guys. It was really bad.
But when she hit Diamond and we got that $10,000 good bonus, we went to the.
I was like, I'm getting a van. I don't care if we have debt. I'm going to get a van. I have to get a new car.
I listed that SUV on Craigslist for $1,000 and I only got $500 out of it. So that tells you how.
It was really bad.
But yeah, we got a safe vehicle for our kids.
Yeah.
That was the first huge blessing from It Works when she got that good bonus, which the good bonuses are going right now again.
So I went from making like $600 and then I saw a $2,000 paycheck and I cried my eyes out. I was like, this is like the most we've ever made in ministries, like $2,000 in a month. So that's like the most we've ever made. So for me to go in just 6 months time and start making, or 5 months time and make this, we were like in shock. And so now I had my cheerleader on my side. He went from like, this is a scam, to being like, you should quit several times, to then like, you're amazing.
I'm like, how do I help with this? How do we make this thing happen?
So the very next month, you guys, I went double diamond. And that was like a $5,000 paycheck. And I seriously cried because we'd never made that much in our life, like ever. Being married, I've never seen a paycheck, that much money in one check. And we were like, this is amazing. I was like, I'm rich. I was like, I'm a rich person. $5,000 a month. This is rich money. Like, this is awesome. And so anyways, I honestly didn't have anything else on the radar at that point. I didn't even know it was possible. I just knew that I wanted to make $500 a month in this business, and I just got $5,000. So I was really happy. Well, I made that happen in August. And then I was like September, October, November, December, I'm sitting at Double Diamond, and I had promoted quite a bit, right? So I was thinking like that's normal. And so I was sitting at Double Diamond for months, and then like my paycheck had gone down a little bit, and I was like, oh, I guess I should just settle here. This is just like what I'm meant to do. This is where I should be. Like, I guess this is all that it's supposed to be. And I was really down. I don't know anything about this business, you guys. I'd just been in it for so many months. And so I'm like this, okay, like I'm emotional roller coaster. Maybe you all are too, but like, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this is awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm a failure. You know? And so it was like, I was always having these like crazy emotions. And so Jeremy was like, are you going to go to conference? And I told him, no, I'm not going. He goes, Rachel, you have 12 of your team members going to conference and you're not going. And I was like, no, I'm not going. Like, we can't really afford that. We're just surviving right now. And he was like, Rachel, you need to go to conference. And I was like, oh, okay. So he made me go to conference. And so I went, you guys, and that's what changed everything for me. So I know that conference is coming up. You guys have to get there. Like, we couldn't afford, you have to remember all the amount of debt we had, right? And he was still working full time. So we were trying to make this work as much as possible, but like, I don't know what we did. I'm sure we just took it out of my paycheck, but he made me go. Even if it was like on a credit card, he was like, you have to go. And I went, and it changed my life. And I realized that I went from just being like, okay, and settling for what I was making and thinking that that was all I was worth, to thinking and realizing I was worth so much more.
Yeah.
I was made for more. God had more in store for me. He wasn't done yet. And like, it was time to put my hands to plow and run. And when I did that, you guys, a month later, for coming back from conference, I went triple diamond. And 4 months later after that, I went presidential diamond. So I went from making like a $4,000 paycheck to seeing a $17,000 paycheck. Okay. In a matter of a few months. And seeing a $17,000 paycheck, that's like really all we ever made in a year. Okay. And we were like, I guess fine with that. But seeing that in 1 month's time, we were just like, I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying. I was just like, God, we can get out of debt. Like, this is our chance to get out of debt. So he was able to quit his full-time job. He was able to go focus full-time on being a pastor and really starting the church. And we were like, when I went presidential diamond, it was in July. And we said, by the end of this year, by December, we're going to have all of our debt paid off. And we paid off all of our debt, every single bit of it. We cut up all our credit cards, and we weren't going to live in debt anymore. And it just brought us so much hope.
I think that's when we really started dreaming and believing that we were made for more, and that God maybe had dreams in mind for us that were bigger than even what we had thought for ourselves. I mean, we're in ministry, so I'm going to use like a Bible reference. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm reading through the book of Genesis right now, and I was just reading yesterday about how God had chosen to use Abram and his family to introduce himself and to reach the whole planet. In other words, it was God's plan to use Abram to have descendants across the whole world. And so what do you read about him? He was the wealthiest man in the area. I mean, he moved into Egypt, and who was the first person to pay attention to them? The Pharaoh, like the king, the most powerful man in the world, because God had blessed them with resources and with influence because he wanted to use them. And so all of a sudden, Rachel and I started finding ourselves with influence and with resources that we never thought we would have before. And I guess because we never thought that we deserved it. But then you start talking to Mark and Cindy Pentecost, our CEOs, and you realize how much they believe in the fact that good people do good things with their money. And God blesses good people with money because he knows that he can trust us. We're going to use it to change the world. And so it's just been an amazing transformation, because we have gone from a place where I wasn't able to bring home a gallon of milk and all that. I just had to focus on my own family, to now it's like, wow, what kind of difference can we make globally? How is God trusting us to reach all kinds of people for good? We're not buying a private jet or anything like that. We're just trying to change the world. And because good people do good things with their money. And I just want you guys to know too, wherever you're at, I'm sure there's some good people. If you're a good people, I want you to know God does want to bless you. Like, he does want you to be ambassador. He does want you to be Black Diamond. Why? Because good people do good things with their money. So you don't have to wonder like, oh, is it God's plan, or would God ever bless me like he's blessed the Williamsons or the Cannellers? Answer is yes, he wants to. You're going to have to work for it. He's not going to drop it in your lap, but he wants you to be blessed, because like Abram, he wants you to change the world. He wants you to bless the whole world. So,
and you know what he wants to do is he wants to be able to get you out of your debt and out of your struggle so that you can change the world. Because, for us, we had to get out of debt first. We had to do all those things. So you guys might be at a place where you're like, I've got to pay off my student loans. I've got to pay off my credit cards. This opportunity is going to do that for you. And I just, with all of my heart, recommend that you guys go to conference if you've never been. And if you have been, go again, because it will relight your fire, or it will give you a fire you've never had before. And you'll see that it's completely possible for you to soar in this business. And so, we walked into a new year completely debt-free as a Presidential Diamonds. And I went to my second conference as a presidential, and I just couldn't believe it. That I was there and sitting there, and I just felt so special because it's, Jeremy's always been in ministry, but I've always been home with my kids. Like, as soon as we got married, 6 months later, I was pregnant. So, it was like, I just became a mom, and really young. And I never really felt like I had a lot of purpose. I always saw God was using him, but I never felt like I was being used. And yes, I was like fine being a stay-at-home mom, but I knew that God had made me for more too. And so if you're at a place too where you just feel like you're made for more, but maybe you've always been in the shadows or never been able to do anything, like God can take you where you're at and make you something great. Yeah. And that's what he does. He just takes average B team players. I was always on the B team, and he'll make you an A team star, because that's what he does. And so anyways, I just had to throw that in there. Maybe somebody needs it.
You're definitely on my A list.
She's on
my team. You guys are seriously some of my favorite ambassadors in the company. Story. I love how genuine and authentic you guys are, and I love how you love the Lord. And that is just, I just think it's a beautiful thing, because I 100% agree with you that God elevates us to this level, not just so that we can have nice things, although he wants us to have nice things, but so that we can use our influence to make a huge impact. And so I love that. Here's what's cool, Rachel. So I know you said that God gave you a dream. Well, I got a prophetic word. God actually told me, spoke through another person, and told us, this was about 6 months before At Work fell in our lap. God said that he was gonna bless us financially, and that there was like this bank account that we don't know anything about, but it was gonna be an open heaven, and that we were gonna have money that just flowed in. And I thought, whatever, I'm like, okay, yes. But I just never dreamed that it would 6 months later turn into It Works being that open heaven for us. And it's so cool. So you guys are listening, like, listen to that. Like, God can speak to you in so many different ways, and he probably has already spoken to you, and you just have to have faith for that blessing that's already there for you.
Yeah, it's just on my heart really strongly. I think that there are so many people who, especially because the way that we have church in America, we go to church and there's the guy that's on the stage, and we look at the people on TV and we think of everyone else as the powerful people. And it's like we're always putting ourselves down, thinking, no, I'm an average person. No, I'm not the powerful pastor. No, I'm not the person that's going to change the world. And that's a lie, because the devil, he can't destroy us. All he can do is convince you that you're someone less than what God created you to be. And I think so many people fail even in this business because they don't believe in themselves, because somehow they start believing a lie that there isn't going to be an open heaven over them, that they don't deserve it, or maybe that they've sinned and they've messed up, and so God doesn't like them and he's not going to bless them with that. And it's just a big old lie. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hate hearing that.
Well, you guys are all made for more. And so I really believe in you all. And I know that you can do this. Like, if I can do this, you can do this. If Jeree can do this and Chad can do this, you can do this. No one is far from, making this opportunity happen. And when I went to my second conference, you guys, right after that, I went ambassador. And so I've been ambassador now for more than a year and a half, and it has completely changed our life. And the opportunity that it has been able to give us from like being behind to being ahead is absolutely amazing. We're closing on our very first house that we can own here in Colorado. And like a little house here is really expensive. So being able to buy a home here is like a complete miracle. To be able to save enough money to have a down payment for a home, I never thought that would be possible.
Yeah.
I never thought it would be possible. And we also bought land to build our dream home. And we haven't announced this publicly, but recently we decided that we want to sell our land and buy a cabin up in Estes Park, Colorado.
It's a little town up in the mountains.
We always go there. It's like 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
But anyways, and we're really, really excited about all these things because we're, for the first time, being able to dream. Like I never, like being in ministry or being married to somebody in ministry, like it just, money wasn't really a thing. And so I couldn't get on an airplane and fly somewhere. I couldn't go on vacations. I couldn't go, and do the things that I was blessed to do when I was growing up. And so I just kind of let all those things go, but I still had those dreams in my heart. And when I got into this opportunity, I realized I can actually make enough to take my family on a vacation. We can go out to eat. We can go on date nights every week. I can do what I want to do now. Like I can actually dream. Like I can get on a plane and fly first class to Florida if I want. Like it gives you options. And so being able to be free from your debt, free from student loans, free from just the month to month making it, to be able to have those options, to be able to enjoy your life the way that you were created to enjoy it, whether that be you build a big, beautiful home or you go travel the world or you invest it back into your kids. I don't know what you want to do, but know that those dreams are so important and that God put those in your heart for a reason. Like, because you are made for more, and it's not an accident that you are in this business and in this company, because they're going to give it all to you. And that Steps to Success plan, it unlocks it. It really does unlock it. So, that's our story. Sticking to it.
We're not
doing awesome story, testimony, just incredible to hear all that. I didn't know a lot of that, and that's amazing. I know we had a few questions. Hopefully you guys have a little bit of time. I don't know how long you've got, but
we're all yours till you want us to hang up.
The kids are in bed.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, okay. One of the diamonds on our team asked this question. How do you handle meeting people where they're in the business when you yourself are pushing for a promotion, but they don't seem to have the drive? They say they want to make money and push, but actions speak otherwise, and you don't want to be pushy or too red and make them mad.
Okay, so it's like someone on your team is all talk but no action?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I just let them be. Isn't that lame? No, I think I've been doing this long enough that I've got a lot of people in my business like this, and they're all talk, and they can talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. Like when it comes down to action, they don't take it, and so it's really important to me to build with people who are as passionate as I am. And, if they're doing their posts and I see that they're enrolling customers, or I see that maybe they got a distributor in a month, to me, that's heart and that's action. And so they may not move as fast as I am, but I see that they're moving, and that action speaks louder than words. And I'd rather not anyone tell me that they're going to do this and then not do anything. You know, like I hear it a lot. And I mean, I've even heard it like recently. I'm like, you know, I'm going diamond. I'm so excited. And I'm like, where are you? Like, what happened to you? You like, whoop. You know, like if have you guys ever seen a bonfire and you throw something in it, it just goes, psh, but then it comes back down? That's exactly what it is. It's like the spark of fire, but then it like dies back down and it's just normal again. And so like, you have to set like a whole forest on fire. You can't just bloop and think that it's going to happen. Like this business, like longs for just a whole lot of consistency and a lot of drive. And I was just even sharing with my team today on a video. I was just like, you know, if you get in your car and you drive it, it's going to go somewhere. But the moment you let off your gas pedal, where are you going? You know, it's going to stop. You can't just like, you don't just go in your car. You have to like put your foot down. You have to take that action. And when you do, it just like, it explodes. It just goes and goes and goes.
I would say too, if you're already diamond, that means that you've got some fantastic people that are under you that deserve your time and they deserve your energy. And you can't pull dead weight. And I would say the other people that are running in your organization, they deserve your time. And all of those moms and dads and people out there that need to hear about this business, that are desperate for it, they deserve your time and attention. And pulling dead weight is just not worth the effort. Sometimes they'll come back to life and sometimes they won't, but I wouldn't be afraid to make them mad. I wouldn't be afraid of being too red. I would just move on and we'll run with the runners and walk with the walkers and just don't waste.
And I think too, it does like, I mean, this is for me. I don't know if during chat there might be like, oh my gosh, that's how to teach. But like you know, for me, if they're in an important position, like in my chart, I'm going to make sure that they get where they need to go. So I go where I need to go. Like I will make a promotion happen if it's up to my promotion. Does that make sense? Like I'll do whatever it takes. So if I'm trying to go double diamond and my diamond is kind of being flaky, but I've got some people working underneath of them, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that diamond to that position or that future diamond to that position so I can go double. And then when I'm there, if they flake out, I'm going to resurrect that team and like focus with them and coach them and mentor them. So I think too, sometimes it just, it calls for your judgment call. It calls for your wisdom. You're just going to have to make a shot. Sometimes you don't know whether or not they're going to stick around, but you need to invest in them for a while. And I think sometimes that's okay. Other times, if you're just kind of in this in-between state and you see this awesome person under there and they're rising up fast, and you'd be like, man, this person's going to run with me to ambassador. I'm going to mentor them. I'm going to go down there those couple levels deep and I'm going to put my whole heart and passion into this person. Then that is worth your leadership and your time to give there.
That's so good. That's pretty much exactly what we do and teach. So
good.
Spot on.
Okay.
I have a couple questions. So Jeremy, when you went, this is really interesting to me. So you were, you know, anti-it works, obviously, because you know, had your own stuff had gone, your own head about it. So when things started working out and you heard about conference, what made you so determined for Rachel to go? Why did you want her to go so bad?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. My sister was a part of a different network marketing company that just not even have the potential of it works. And I would see her go to these conferences, and when she came back, she was so on fire. I mean, she was just going nuts and gangbusters, and I could tell that for her was super powerful. And even she got my mom to join that same one, and she's with It Works now, my mom is. But same thing. I would feel this energy, and I would hear about what they would do. And then just in my own experience, in my ministry world, you know, we go to conferences too. I'll take my staff to a conference where we get away. And it's almost like when you went to summer camp as a kid, right? You get away and you focus on one thing for a long time. You come back crazy passionate. It's really hard to explain if you've never experienced it. But it is like a shot in the arm for your business. There's nothing like it. I would say if you could single out one thing in 12 months of a year that was powerful for your business, it's conference by far. If we had to choose one thing
this
to do
February
business,
conference coming
conference.
up, like it's amazing. So
Yeah. So Rachel, for you, how would you explain it? Because I know you had explained how you were double and you were content and you're just kind of hanging out and you're like, maybe this is it for me, and just kind of happy there and stuff. And then you go to conference and like so fast, it's like triple presidential right away. So what stuck out to you? What sticks out to you from that first conference? What happened for you to just get you that excited?
Well, I thought I was sold out before, and I thought it was fine before. But when I went to conference, I realized I wasn't. Like, it just made everything real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, Mark and Cindy, they're real people. Like Mike and Pam, they're real people. Like all these people that I've seen before. And honestly, I wasn't really following anyone. Like, I really didn't know anyone besides my ambassador upline, who's Lori Conway. Like, I didn't even know anyone else. But I was sitting there like listening to everybody's story, and I realized, gosh, like if they can do this, I can too. Like, I am made for more. And I really just felt like God was like, you try to define yourself all the time. And other people try to define you, but that's not how I define you. You're made for so much more than like what people see and what people view of you. And like, they put me, I don't know how to I have these like text messages coming in on my computer and it's dinging, and I'm really sorry. I don't know how to like mute it, but anyways, I just realized though that like, we just so often like put God in the box. We just assume that this is how he is, this is how he works, and he's going to provide through a 9-to-5 job. We need to become doctors or lawyers or something to like make us a lot of money so that we can make it and survive. And that's just not the case, and I realized too, going to conference, it didn't matter. Like, we deal with a lot of other things. Like, he was so worried about people judging me from all the people we knew in our past. And he was so worried about that. And I just realized when I came back, like, that's not God. Like, he doesn't worry about that stuff. Like, he wants to bless you, and he wants to set you free. Like, he sees you go to bed worried at night. He sees you crying at night. He hears your prayers. Like, those people are not him. And so they put him in a box, and so do we. But if you can just let loose and let him out and let like you be you and you be who God created you to be, because you're fully unique in who he created you to be. And that is created to be an ambassador. So let loose, because everybody is really unique. Everyone is really different. And like, you are made to be fully you so that you can soar into the places that God wants you to be. And Jeremy was telling me something really cool too. He was reading this book, and it's almost like, it's almost kind of goes in with what I'm saying, because you're going to be stretched. Like, you may not get to ambassador in 3 years. It might take you 7 years, but is it still worth it? Yes, absolutely. Because he's making you into the leader that he designed you to be. And sometimes those rubs make you even better. And like, you'll be sifted to help strengthen you and like make you all that you're created to be in order to soar into the places you're meant to soar. So I basically just took that from you, sorry. But anyway, that's what I got from conference. I just realized how different all of us are and how we're all created for so much more.
That's so good. So I have a lot of people on here, a lot of my leaders, most of my leaders are on here. And this time of the year, we know that it's quote unquote can be the slow season. And some of my leaders are feeling a little discouraged because they've either lost rank or checks have gone down, numbers have gone down somewhat. But I just want to know, like, what would you say to them about this time of year? I know, because you and we've been in I've been in 4 years. You've been in 3 years now? Have you been?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Okay, so about the same time. So we've had time to see this, that we know our business fluctuates, right? It's season. Yeah. So will you just share with everybody?
Yeah. For me, it's almost like you have to get the card off the table of quitting. Like, I feel like people kind of like have in the back of their head, like this idea, like, oh, well, if this doesn't work, I'm going to do this. Or if this, if this keeps doing this, then I'm just going to do this. And it's like, you have to completely abandon yourself to this business. You have to quit off the table. And if you got like a wall in front of you, then you're going to have to like bust through it, dig under it, crawl over it, whatever you need to do to get to the other side of that. And I always think too, like, if people would stop entertaining their thoughts about that and they would abandon themselves completely to this business, that they really could set their whole forest on fire. Like, it doesn't have to be some sort of flickering flame that's like getting blown by the wind and I think it just went out. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, bust your lamp, set your forest on fire, and go for it. Like, because you are created to do all of these things and abundantly more. And so you have to get all of those head thoughts out of your way. You've got to get out of your way, and you've got to stop entertaining those ideas. Stop letting fear take over you. So what? You went from diamond to a $500 paycheck? Is that what you're made for? No, you're made for more. Yeah. So go for more. Like, because we don't know in 6 months what your paycheck is going to look like. If you keep working hard, it could go from, you were making $1,000 to $500 to then all of a sudden you're making a $10,000 paycheck. Imagine. And if you would have thrown in the towel and walked away, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's called, so in hiking, like when you're mountaineering, when you're hiking, it's called a false summit. And what happens is you're walking along and you're hiking and it's been really arduous, and then you look around and you think you're at the top because you can't quite see, and you are deceived thinking this is as good as it's going to get. But it's not. You're not at the summit yet. It's going to take a lot more work to get there. But I think any good place to go, any good business, it's going to have ups and downs, no matter what kind of business it is. Like Rachel said, you've got to take quit out of the equation. We said, no matter what, we're going to be in this for 5 years. We signed on the dotted line. We are doing this for 5 years. We're not going to quit, period.
No matter what happens. That was like when I was a diamond.
Years. Yeah. No matter what happens,
no matter what,
we're going to be in this for at least 5 years.
I'm all in.
So then we realized, you have got to discipline yourself. And I love Joel Dunn said the other day, discipline is different than inspiration. Like, you don't just, I don't know if those are the exact words, but if you may not wake up every morning like bearing fruit and having this great harvest, you've got to plow the ground, you've got to plant the seeds, and you've got to water it, and you have to be disciplined to do that. And there are seeds, or there's time for harvest, and there's a time for planting. In the winter, for us, and it works, oftentimes is a time for planting. It's a time to get busy and work hard and dig in with your teams, plant a lot of seeds, and prepare yourself for a huge harvest. I think it's a powerful season, because I think it's a season of multiplication, where the work that you put in the wintertime is actually going to have a multiplied harvest when the harvest season comes. So actually, I love the wintertime. Volume might drop just because people are busy or whatever. It doesn't have to, but sometimes it might trend that way. But it's still a powerful season to build your business.
Your team doesn't define you either. So even if you feel like, oh my gosh, why is everyone quitting on me? That doesn't mean that you can quit on you. Mm-hmm. You have to keep going, and you have to keep adding to your team, because I look at it like this. It takes 5 people to go ambassador, right? So if it takes you 10 years and enrolling at 2,000 people, I don't know how many, whatever. All you need is 5. And all that organization and all those people adding, all you need to do is five different people to pour your heart and soul into. And when you find those 5 golden nuggets, then all you have to do is build with them. You only have to focus on them. And so that's all I've ever done, is I just focus on a few. I focus on a few on my and I give them all of my time. I give them all of my energy. And I even chart with, I'll sign my distributors and add to their team. Nobody ever gave me anything, and that's totally fine. But I actually look for my runners, and I will help them accelerate to their next promotion, because those are your people. You're only going to get a few, but they are worth all of your time and effort. It's like, I heard this once, if somebody put $1 million in one shoebox, but you were in a huge auditorium, imagine a basketball gym or something like that, and it was filled with shoeboxes, and they said there's $1 million buried in one of these shoeboxes. Good luck and have fun. It might take you 5 years to go through it. Would you do it?
Heck yeah.
Yes. You would open up every shoebox until you found that $1 million. Absolutely. Even if it took me 5 years, I would be looking through that thing like crazy. Okay. Even if they told me it would take 10 years, if I knew that eventually I would find that $1 million shoebox, I would go for it with all my heart. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with this business. You're just gonna go look. You do your business, you do your steps to success, and through that, you're gonna find the most amazing people.
Somebody's gonna find $1 million a month shoebox out there. One of these people on this team is.
Yep. And as you work your way up into the business, all of the compensation plans opens up. And it really, really does. And so as you enroll more people and teach them how to do the same thing, eventually you're going to find $1 million. And I just love that and that's a blessing for you, because not only are you going to impact so many people on your team. I mean, I can't tell you how many people, Chad and Juri, I just call it almost like combined your name just now.
Churi.
Yeah. But like, who knows? I don't know how many people they've impacted. Like, I'm sure so many people. They've been doing this longer than I have, but I look at the people that I've been able to impact. I know, like, a stay-at-home mom. She was a social worker. She is here in town. I randomly met her at a MOPS, Mothers of Preschoolers, and I was just about to join this business. I was telling her about it, and I was really excited, and, like, she didn't even know me that well, but we were friends on Facebook. And so she watched me for months and months and months. And as she put her daughter into childcare and went to be a social worker, the thing that she always dreamed about doing, she cried letting her daughter go. And she watched me. And as she watched me succeed, she messaged me and she said, Rachel, I need to do this. And you know what? She's ended up being one of my greatest leaders on my team. It took her a long time to join me. But because of that, she joined me, and she was telling me the other day, because we, live in the same town. She was like, Rachel, our family will have made $95,000 this year. And she was like, my husband has a master's degree and only makes $5,000 a month. And she was like, I've made more than him being a stay-at-home mom, only committing, so many hours a day. And I'm with my kids and I never have to drop them off at a childcare. And I just was like,
Awesome.
This is awesome. This is what it's all about, you guys. It's helping find those people and bring them in and give them hope and a future and change. And so I can't tell you how many of those stories I have on my team. And you're made to be one of those stories. Maybe you already have one of those stories, but there's so many more people out there that are dropping their kids off at daycare, or they're crying because they don't know how to pay their bills at night. They're like us. And so they're out there. There's a sea of people that are literally praying for this business. And you just need to pray, God, connect me with those special people. Mm-hmm. Give me those open doors. Give me those divine appointments. Like, I don't know where to find them. I don't know how, but do it, Lord, for me,
So awesome.
Well, let me look here real quick. I saw the chat went way up just to see if we have like maybe one or two questions.
Okay.
Hashtag Churi. I think it's going to be coming there.
There is so much good stuff that you guys have been sharing. Hey, if somebody out there has another question that you want to ask, just put it in the chat real quick. But so what's it like, one tip maybe that you guys, or something maybe you've learned throughout
starting a new distributor? Maybe what about like one tip about starting a new distributor?
Okay, what?
One tip about
starting a new distributor.
Oh, like on helping them get started? Okay, well, it might be horrible, but like, I think of myself getting started, like I had no idea what I was doing, and they were like, go get 4 customers and 3 friends to join the business. So I usually will get my new distributor on the phone, just like they did with me, and I tell them the exact same thing. Right now, all you need to do is focus on getting 4 family members. And I just give them my example. I signed up my mom and my dad because they're divorced and they have different addresses. I made them sign up as my loyal customer. Then I called my 2 best friends that I knew didn't probably, like, they were introverted, and I didn't think that they probably want to do this with me. And I was like, I knew that they had money. So I called them and I was like, hey, you need to sign up as my customer and try these products out. And I don't even know how to do that, but I just need you to do it for me. Okay. So like, I usually tell them my own example of like how I got started. And so I'm like, look, all you have to do, you don't even have to know anything. Like, right? Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. It is so much better. So I was completely ignorant. I had no idea what I was doing, but I made sure I got my 4 customers on board. And so I tell my team the same thing. Any new distributor that I have, you do get your 4 customers this week. You've got 1 week to do it. Call every family member you have, get them on board. I give them 1 week, because if I can do it in a week, you can too. And then I just say, and then we're going to focus on getting your 3 friends to join you in the business. And I just coach them on how to do it, how to talk to people, how to ask them. And, just think of yourself. I typically tell my new distributor, I always do call them like the next day. So I signed a distributor today, so I'm going to call her tomorrow and I'll talk to her. And it usually takes 20 minutes. and that's it. And then I let them go. Like, and I tell them, I'm like, you bug me, like, talk to me. I'm available to you, whatever you need. Like, I'm not going to chase you because this is your business. And I always give people authority over their own businesses. It's not my business to run. This is your business. And so I think that's important, but I'm here to help you every step of the way. So if you have a question, ask me. You got anything, save my phone number, text me, call me, whatever it is. I'll get on three-way with you. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. And so I let them know I'm fully theirs, and it's up to them though to take advantage of that.
That is awesome. So last question, someone just asked, so what does a typical day look like for you? Do you have certain things you try and do every day, or do you plan your day out like tonight? Do you already know what your day tomorrow is going to look like? What does an average day look like for you?
I'm like a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person.
I'm like, are you red or blue?
I don't even know. I think I'm like red and yellow and blue.
Red. She's red. I think you are red, but you might have some blue in you too.
I used to be blue before I got like stressed out with finances, and I like all of a sudden switched to red.
The problem
I
with
think we were both blue and we got married and somebody had to turn red. So
the problem with our family is no green. And so we're like the most disorganized we just want to go play. Like,
we're both the youngest kids. So
so
it's like we sometimes we get in trouble. But no, I'm like very much a day-to-day. And listen, like I still have to
divide your time.
I do have to divide my time because like, yes, there's a few things that I do every day. Okay. So like, yes, I spend time with my team. I spend a lot of time working towards my steps to success. And I'm a steps to success girl. Okay, you guys, I don't sign any more than like 3 to 5 distributors every single month. And I give them all my time until I'm a new month and I start a new team, but like and if you could do more, awesome, go for it. If I can figure that out, I would. I can't figure it out. So like, this is what I can do. So I do that and I coach them well. And then I'm a mom, but I also am a pastor's wife. And so like I'm planning a retreat right now for a women's retreat, and like up in Estes Park. And so like this morning I worked my business. I talked to people on Facebook. I signed a distributor. And then that afternoon, then I had to unplug and I had to do all this other stuff for our women's retreat and go talk to the YMCA. And then I came home and we had dinner, and now we're doing this. And so, yeah, I really can't function outside of the next day. But I know my tasks each day, and I don't think too far in the future, but I know what I need to do today. And so I make every day count. And so that's just how I work. But
if I could say one thing about Rachel, just from the outside, kind of looking in at how she handles her schedule, one thing is true is that from day one, she never, I can't think of a day where she took a day off completely. So we went to India this year. Last year we went to Africa. She's working her business in the back of a car on the streets of India. She just does it every single day. I think that's the biggest thing. She figures out in the morning what she has to do. But she, there's some days, I'm sure we've had days off, but honestly, like she's answering questions. She's doing what she has to do every single day. And
every
that's
day.
The biggest thing.
Yeah. And then, I try to make time too. Like I know when I was in the very beginning of my business, we didn't do Zooms, you guys. We didn't do all this stuff that we have now. Like you have so much more help. Like I was seriously like floating along. I had no idea what I was doing, but like, I had 3 kids at home when I was doing this business. And so, we were at the park. Like I'd work in the morning and I'd let them watch 2 hours of TV, cartoons. And then I would take them to the park and we'd play and we'd have a picnic, and I was being mom. And then I'd come home and I'd lay them down, and guess what? I was on my phone working while they were taking naps and having quiet time. And then when they were awake, then I was playing with them, and then I had to make dinner. And then guess what happened after they went to bed? I was on my phone. Like I stopped watching Food Network like 3.5 years ago. I watched that thing faithfully every day, and I was an amazing cook. I just want you to know that I am a good cook, but I'm not that awesome anymore because I stopped watching Food Network. No, we did like for a little bit, but that didn't work very well. So I like to cook too much. But I'm just saying that though to say that I had to sacrifice some stuff. I did have to give up things. So, I have no idea what's going on in the TV world until it gets about 10 o'clock at night. Then we'll watch a show. So like, I don't look at this like a normal job. I just incorporate it into my life. And if you can just incorporate it into your life, then you're not realizing that you're working. You're just doing it. Like, it's a part of your daily routine. And so I just make it a part of my daily routine. It was never like a chore, like, oh, I have to do my it works. Like, I'm like, no, I'm going to be a millionaire one day. Like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to help all my team become millionaires too. So I'm going to keep doing this. Like, even when it doesn't make sense, even when volume's going crazy, even when people are dropping like flies. Like, I signed 7 people like 2 months ago, and like all of them went incognito. I have no idea what happened to all of them but one. So one is working the business with me. You know, like, I don't know. I can't explain what is always happening. But I'm doing it anyways. And so I just keep doing it, and I do it, and I do it. And then, you know, it creates great paychecks, and it helps bring freedom to people. So it's awesome.
I love that. You're so passionate about it, and that's what comes across. And so if there's a takeaway from that, you guys, it's that you've got to get passionate. You've got to get passionate about using the products. You've got to get passionate about helping people, and you've got to get passionate about you and your story and where this can go for you. So we just want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to put your hearts into our team. We just love you guys so much and appreciate
We love you too. It was so fun. I'm so glad we got to spend this time together tonight. It was awesome.
Absolutely, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and close up tonight, guys. We love you all, and thank you again. You guys, we love you, and we'll see you next time.
We love you guys too. Bye.
Good night.